Hi, my name is Danielle. I'm a yoga instructor here at Studio. We're going to go over a flow you can do in your living room, anywhere you have space, and let's get into it. Beginning seated in an easy seated pose. For most people, this is a crisscross applesauce, but you can also put one foot in front of the other. Hands rest lightly on the knees, lengthening through the crown of your head, so long spine here, and close your eyes. When we close our eyes, it brings our focus inward. And it's a great time to reconnect with our breath. So long inhales and long exhales. You can count your inhale to a count of 5, maybe 6. And then count your exhale evenly to the same count of 5 or 6. Using your diaphragm with your breath, you want to press your belly out. Your ribs will follow as you breathe in. And as you exhale, pull your belly button towards your spine, contract the ribs as you exhale. And continue this with your even breath. Next, I'm going to walk you through the Ujjayi pranayama. And this is often practiced with vinyasa yoga. And so if you constrict the back of your throat as if you're about to begin snoring, you'll create an audible breath. So breathing only through the nostrils, this victorious breath will guide you through our practice and every other practice that you do. Begin to slowly blink your eyes open, and on your next inhale, bring the arms wide, palms meet overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Bringing your left hand to your right knee, right hand goes behind the tailbone as you come into a twist here. So really use your hand outside your knee here to open your chest to the side of the room. Your gaze can go over the back shoulder. Holding this for a couple breaths, warming up the spine. And on your next inhale, unwind and reach up to the sky. And as you exhale, twist to the other side. Inhale, reaching up, finding that extension through the arms. Exhale, right hand down, left arm reaches. Inhale brings you to the center, and exhale, bend to the other side. Inhale, reach up. As you exhale, bring both hands to your heart center, coming forward into tabletop position. And so that's the hands and the knees only that are touching the mat. The fingers are spread wide. The toes are tucked. And as you inhale, start to drop your belly towards the mat as you lift your gaze. This is cow. And as you exhale, curve into the spine, bring your chin towards your chest for cat. Inhale, cow. Pull your chest forward as you saddle your back. Exhale, cat. Pull your spine up towards the ceiling. So continue going with your own breath pace here. Warming up the shoulders, stretching our core, preparing our body for our practice. Now the next time you find yourself in your cat pose, lift your knees off the mat and press your weight back. Heels are reaching towards the mat, downward facing dog. Now your gaze here is between the legs towards the back of the room. Press out of your shoulders and press firmly into the hands. Begin to pedal your feet out here, bending one knee at a time. And then find stillness. On your next inhale, come high into the balls of your feet. As you exhale, bend your knees towards the mat, hovering them about an inch above. Shift your weight back so your belly is on your thighs. Gaze forward and walk your feet in between your hands, forward fold. As you inhale, bring your hands lightly to your shins, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach the arms wide and overhead, extended mountain pose. Exhale, both hands to heart center. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, reverse swan dive, forward fold. Halfway lift on your inhale. As you exhale, bring your hands down and walk your feet to the back of the mat, coming into a high plank position. So you want to be on the very tippy top of your toes, and the arms want to stay tight to the body, elbows pointing towards the back of the room as you slowly lower down into a low plank. Untuck your toes here. Tops of the feet and the hips are pressing firmly into the mat. As you open your chest, gaze lifts, low cobra. So using the power of your low back only, you should be able to lift your hands off the mat and keep your body stable. Hands go down, forehead goes down. Tuck your toes, and as you inhale, press yourself into a high plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. So our downward dog is a resting pose, believe it or not. So here's a great place to reconnect with your breath at any point in the practice. Inhale, high onto the balls of your feet. Exhale, bend your knees towards the mat, shift your weight back, walk your feet in between your hands, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, extended mountain pose, reach up to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift on your inhale. Exhale, bring your hands down, walk your feet to the back of the mat, coming into a high plank position. On your exhale, lowering down into that low plank, toes untucked. Inhale, going towards high cobra here. So you're pressing lightly into the hands, shoulders are pulling down the spine, elbows are pulling towards the body, and the chest is opening forward. So you kind of want to pull yourself forward with your hands slightly. Your gaze lifts a little bit. And on your next exhale, bring your forehead back down. Tuck your toes. As you inhale, press yourself to a high plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Reconnect with your breath. Now on your next inhale, come high onto the balls of your feet. Exhale, bend your knees, shift your weight back, grip the mat with your hands as you look up, and maybe you hop your feet in between your hands. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, extended mountain pose. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift on your inhale. Bring the hands down, feet to the back of the mat. Exhale, low plank. Untuck the toes here, going towards upward facing dog. Press firmly into the hands. Just the hands and the tops of the feet are on the mat here. The legs are fully engaged. Untuck the toes here, downward facing dog. So this is our sun salutation A's. It's a great way to start your practice to build the heat in your body and prepare yourself for a bit more challenging postures. And it's great to do 3 to 5 rounds of this before you do any strenuous postures, just to make sure that your muscles are warm and your body is prepared. Inhale, reach up to the sky, extended mountain pose. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift on your inhale. Exhale, hands go down, feet go to the back of the mat. Exhale, low plank. Untuck the toes here. Press firmly into the hands and the tops of the feet. Those are the only things on the mat here in our upward facing dog. Pull the chest forward, engage the legs. Maybe your gaze lifts up to the sky. Untuck your toes here as you exhale, downward facing dog. On your next inhale, lift your right leg up to the sky. As you exhale, pull your knee in towards your nose, curve into the spine, shift your weight forward, and then drop the foot in between the hands. Low lunge. Lower your back knee, untuck your back toe. Both hands come onto the front knee as you open the chest towards the front of the room. Sink your hips down, and then reach up to the sky. Modified high lunge. On your next exhale, begin to straighten the front leg as you frame the foot with your hands. The front foot is flexed towards your leg, and the forehead can relax down. As you inhale, bring a bend back into your front knee, tuck your back toe, lift your knee off the mat, and then reach up to the sky, high crescent. And on your exhale, open up to warrior two. So in your warrior two, you want to make sure that the arms are reaching towards the front and the back of the room. The torso is opening to the side of the room, and your gaze is over the front middle finger. Opening the hips here, pressing firmly into the outer edge of your back foot. On your next inhale, reach forward. As you exhale, flip your front palm, exalt your warrior. And so here, your legs stay the same. You want to reach that front hand towards the back of the room. Back hand rests on the back leg lightly. On your next inhale, come back to your warrior two. Flip your back palm, exhale. Windmill the hands down to the mat as you pivot onto the ball of the back foot. Press firmly into the hands as you curve into the spine. Bring your front foot to the back of the mat. Downward facing dog. On your next inhale, lift your left leg up to the sky. As you exhale, pull your knee in towards your nose. Come to the tippy toes of your back foot and drop the foot in between the hands. Back knee goes down, untuck your toe. Inhale, both arms up to the sky. Really sink those hips down, maybe slightly forward. On your next exhale, straighten the front leg, hands come down outside the foot. And flex that foot so the toes are coming towards you. Forehead relaxes down. On your next inhale, bring a bend into your front knee. Tuck that back toe and lift your knee off the mat. Inhale, both arms up to the sky, high crescent. And as you exhale, open up to warrior two. So again, making sure you're pressing firmly into that outer edge of the back foot. There's about a 90-degree bend in your front knee. Chest is opening to the side of the room and the gaze is over the front middle finger. Next inhale, reach forward. Exhale, flip your palm and exalt your warrior. Feel a stretch through the side body as you breathe in here. Coming back to your warrior two on your next inhale. As you exhale, flip your back palm and bring the hands down to the mat. Curve into the spine, bring your front foot back, and go through a flow like we did in the beginning. So your exhale brings you down to a low plank, coming into a low cobra, maybe a high cobra, or an upward facing dog. And as you exhale, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. So next we're going to get into a fun posture that is a full body engagement, but it also is really great because it gives a good indication of your engagement of your core. And it's called boat pose. You maybe have heard of it before or seen it. The hands start out on the hamstrings. You want to roll your weight back towards your tailbone, and you'll start to lift your feet off of the mat. And at this point, you're just kind of balancing by your tailbone here. And the hands should be lightly on the hamstrings, not pulling in, just kind of relaxing them there. And once you feel stable there, make sure your core is engaged. You'll start to lift your feet so that they're in line with your knees. And so you can either stay here and just work on engaging the quads, engaging your core, making sure your shoulders stay relaxed. So maybe you reach forward here and you keep breathing, or you can even extend the legs up to the sky. And at this point, if at any point you start to feel your legs separating and you feel your back coming down, that's how you know you want to take it back a step. Because you want to make sure you keep the integrity of the pose. And it's also, that's where the indication is of whether your core is engaged. If you feel your back going towards the mat, that means your core isn't engaged anymore. You're just kind of relying on maybe your legs pulling in. 3, 2, 1. Lower the feet down to the mat. And you want to make sure that the feet are in line with your knees for this next pose here. The back is going to come down to the mat. You can glance to the side to make sure the heels are in line. Fingertips are extended towards the heels. Palms are pressing down onto the mat. And as you inhale, press your hips up to the sky. Bridge pose. And so here, if you start to feel your legs separating, pull them back towards one another to engage your inner thighs. Make sure that your chest is coming towards your chin. Maybe it's touching. That's great if it is. And if you'd like to go deeper, you can start to walk your shoulders underneath your body, and then maybe even interlace the hands underneath you and extend them towards the heels. And at that point, you'll be able to lift your hips a little bit higher. Keep pulling your knees towards one another. Inhale and exhale. Keep breathing. Slowly release the hands. Spread your shoulder blades, and then lower your hips back down to the mat. Bring your feet to the outer edges of your mat. Your arms can be to a T, maybe a goal post, whatever feels comfortable for you, and start to windshield wiper the legs. After a few rounds, bring your knees in towards your chest, grab opposite elbows, and start to roll on your sacrum. And so that can be, maybe you cup the knees with your hands and you make circles on the ceiling with your knees. Or maybe you just roll side to side. Or maybe you roll forward and back, whatever feels comfortable for you here. And if you're going in circles, switch directions. And then find yourself in stillness. Roll yourself up. So we're coming onto our feet here. Back to a standing position, Tadasana or mountain pose. Feet are about hip distance apart. Feet are about hip distance apart. Palms open up to the front of the room. The spine is long and the tailbone is slightly down. As you inhale, bring the arms wide, palms meet overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center, and bring a deep bend into your knees as we find our chair pose. So there's a few variations of chair, but this one we're going to have the weight in the heels. Make sure that the knees are pointing forward with the toes and not going outward. Press your back against the imaginary wall behind you. Sink your hips down a little bit further. Inhale, and as you exhale, straighten the legs, forward fold. Halfway lift on your inhale. Exhale, bring yourself into a plank pose, lowering down, going through your flow. meaning in downward facing dog. Inhale your leg up to the sky, right leg lifts. Exhale, pull your knee forward and drop it in between the hands. Inhale your right leg up to the sky. Exhale, right knee, right elbow. Shift your weight forward. Inhale, lift your leg up to the sky. Exhale, opposite elbow. So coming into a twist here. Inhale, lift your leg up to the sky. Exhale, drop the foot in between the hands. Back foot goes down at a 45-degree angle. So you want to make sure the back toes, the right toes are pointing towards the top right corner of your mat. Inhale, warrior one. Hands come down, lift your leg, warrior three. So you're creating a T shape with your body here. You want to make sure the hips are square to the mat, the glutes are engaged with the left leg. Lengthen through the crown of your head. And then gently dropping the foot down at the back of your mat as you open up to the side. So the heels are in and the toes are out. Hands come to heart center. This is our goddess squat. So sink those hips down. Maybe you're able to balance something on your quads. And if you want a little bit more difficulty at this point, you can come onto the balls of your feet, adding a little bit of balance into this flow here. On your next inhale, let the heels come down, straighten the legs, reach up to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center. So now we're gonna bring the toes inward and the heels out. Hands will come to the hips. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of your head. Exhale, leading with the chest, wide-legged forward fold. Hands come down to the mat. Relax your neck, gaze is between the legs. You can shake your head yes, and shake your head no. Let gravity weigh you down. Maybe you even grab opposite elbows here. Hands come onto the hips. Engage your quads. Inhale, back up to standing. As you exhale, pivot your front foot back to the front of the room. Back foot stays parallel with the back of the mat. Arms go to a T. Start to reach forward as far as you can and then hinge at the waist, triangle pose. Your bottom hand comes onto your shin. Top hand reaches up to the sky. And your gaze is up towards that top hand if that feels okay with your neck. And on your next exhale, bring both hands down to the mat. Go through a flow. Downward facing dog. Now on your next inhale, come high onto the balls of your feet. Exhale, bend your knees, shift your weight back, walk or float your feet in between your hands, forward fold. Grab opposite elbows here, coming into a ragdoll pose. Maybe you sway side to side. The head is relaxed down. Let gravity do the work. And the weight of your hands on your elbows pull the crown of your head down towards the mat. On your next exhale, release the hands down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, extended mountain pose. Exhale, hands to heart center. So bring the feet so the toes are towards the outer edges of the mat. Maybe they're off if your legs are a little bit longer. And the heels are inward like they were in our goddess squat. Hands come to heart center. Start to bring a bend into the knees. Lower the hips down towards the mat. Use your elbows to press your knees outward. This is Malasana or a yogi squat. And keep a lengthening through the crown of your head here. Press the hands together while simultaneously pressing the elbows against the knees. Relax through the hips. Don't hold any tension there. Interlace all 10 fingers. Press your palms forward and up as you inhale over to the right side. Next inhale brings you back to the center. Palms come back together. Exhale down, Malasana. Interlace all 10 fingers. Press forward and up as you inhale over to the left. Exhale, hands to heart center. You can bring the feet back together into our mountain pose. Close the eyes and reconnect with your breath. So for our cool down, we're gonna do a few stretches, starting on our sits bones, extending the arms forward, curve into the spine as you slowly lower your back onto the mat. Bring the outer edge of your right foot onto your left leg. Interlace the fingers around your left leg and pull your legs in towards your body. This is called a supine pigeon. It's a great stretch for your hips, also for your hamstrings. You might find a stretch in some other places also. And if this is not accessible for you right now, you can keep that foot down and maybe just work on pressing your right leg away from your body. Because for most people, it does want to come in. So you can do that as well. Lower your right foot to meet your left. Arms go to a T, and let your knees come down to the left side. So we come into a supine twist. You can bring your gaze over your opposite shoulder if you like to feel the twist into your cervical spine. On your next inhale, bring your knees back to the center. And we're going to find our supine pigeon on the other side. So bringing the outer edge of the left foot onto the right leg. Either staying here and pressing that left leg away from you or interlacing the fingers around the right leg as you pull in towards your body. Lower your foot down to the mat. Arms go to a T as you let your knees fall over to the right side, finding that supine twist on the other side. Gazing over that opposite shoulder. And at this point, if your eyes are not closed, close them down now. Bring your focus inward. Release any tension that you may be holding in your hips or in your lower belly. And find a release. Center. So now the knees are coming to the outside of the torso. Feet come up towards the ceiling as you grab the outer edges of your feet. So this is our happy baby. And you want to let the knees sink down towards the mat. And maybe your happy baby has movement, and that means like swaying side to side. Or you can stay in stillness. Back to stillness, knees come together as you extend the legs up towards the sky. This is legs up the wall. And if you do have a wall, an open wall accessible to you, I highly recommend that you bring your legs up the wall literally, because it's a very relaxing posture. You'll find a release, no muscle involvement. And this is still really great even if you don't have a wall, because it's an inversion. It's allowing us to bring our body into positions that it's usually not in. Bring a bend into the knees. Extend your legs down the length of your mat. Palms are facing up towards the ceiling. Relax to lie in complete stillness. Let your eyes close and feel your body melt. fingers and reach overhead as you inhale deeply. Hold your breath at the top and sigh out of the mouth. Release. Bring one foot into the mat and then the other. Roll over to your right side, using your right arm as a pillow for your head. Left hand comes down onto the mat in front of your chest. Using your left hand to press yourself into a seated position. Finding that easy seated pose, hands on the knees. Inhale, the arms wide, palms meet overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Thank you for joining me. Namaste. Again, my name is Danielle. I hope to see you around the studio sometime. I do teach Thursday mornings Hot Flow Fundamentals and Thursday night Moonlight Bliss at 8:30. Namaste.